Well, sure hope this makes you guys feel better as I am, transferring my video. I asked, is MSNBC in the Mueller report? And I got a yes. This is good news, you guys. Hold tight. We got this. CNN is in the Mueller report because of money they took from Jared and the news that they broadcasted in all these Knight of Wands, thinking, you know who they are, all those annoying people. Thank God some of them are gone. Jeffrey Lord is gone, but that Rick Santorum. Oh my God, I should have started here. Why is MSNBC in the Mueller report? Treason, agreement with Russia. Holy cow. Okay, I'm going to show these videos first, and then you guys can watch the rest of the depressing videos. Okay? Thanks. Hi, friends. How are you? I've been away for almost a day. There is so much I've been wanting to share with you guys today. I'm finding it really hard to try to videotape right now because of the number of interruptions and how schizophrenia the news media is. And I want to align everything perfectly so we can understand. Right now, the moon is about 9 degrees Cancer. When the sun and moon were 10 degrees Cancer last month, that's when we had our new moon solar eclipse, and it was a jolt. Things are jolting right now. I don't know if you can kind of feel things percolating because we also have the sun and this third quarter moon squaring Uranus. From our third quarter moon, I want to show this to you. Remember, the sun was here, the moon was here. Very stressful. It's a point of crisis. A lot of things happened over here. At number 8, this is when we had the impeachment inquiry announcement. Friday, we went into Saturday, and then Donald attacking Baltimore, Elijah Cummings. And right now, we're coming up to the eclipse click point. It's going to trigger everything all over again. There's a lot of other clicks happening I would love to discuss in detail, but I can't. We just don't have the time. Down here at the base of the chart, I want to look at the 4th and 5th house. There's a mutual reception going on between Donald Trump, who drew the Ace of Pentacles, the United States drew the Ace of Pentacles. There's an agreement here. Has some betrayal that he needs to explain. So it's like this is overwhelmingly happening and bearing down in Washington, D.C. as we're in an eclipse click triggers all over the place. We can't go backwards. And what's made it so infuriating is how the news media doesn't want to report anything at all. Even going back to like MSNBC with Brian Williams just really took me back because he had nothing to say about the Mueller report but to criticize him, criticize Dems. All of the verbiage about how ineffective Democrats were. They wanted a blockbuster. Since when do Dems want blockbusters? They wanted a blockbuster and they got a nothing.
Okay, so here's an example of some things that Brian Williams and MSNBC could have covered instead on Friday that happened. Georgia election officials were accused of destroying evidence on their voting machines because the FBI made forensic images of the server before it was wiped by Georgia officials. Not only did Facebook receive a $5 billion penalty, the FTC filed complaint against Cambridge Analytica. The proposed settlement is that Cambridge Analytica had to file for bankruptcy. That happened like last year. I didn't know that. Also, prosecutors subpoenaed Jeffrey Epstein's longtime personal pilots. People familiar with the matter say that also happened on Friday. And buried lead was that Giuliani and Bolton have supported an Iranian group on the U.S. terror watch list from 1997 to 2012. from the IRS, they were sending warning letters to more than 10,000 cryptocurrency holders. They're expanding efforts to track virtual currency, including the increased use of data analytics, meaning hacked elections. Martha Roby announced she will not seek a 6th congressional term in Alabama, as did 3 others from Texas and Michigan, suddenly dropping their re-election bids. And that was on Friday, but what did we hear about? Not that.
So today I was doing a lot of research on Phillip Griffin, the MSNBC president CEO. He has some very large question marks in his history of where he's been and what he's been doing, especially around the time of 2000 to 2005. He dabbled in some stuff with MSM. His last interview was with Roger Ailes trying to get a job at Fox, and he wouldn't hire him. So there's kind of this gap from 2002, 2005 before he was brought back on by MSNBC, and that's kind of like where they relaunched, like with Olberman, and then bringing on MADDOW in about 2008. But this 2002, 2005 period is kind of questionable. Well, that's when Paul Manafort was in Ukraine working on the Yanukovych campaign. That was just glaring to me when I was thinking about Phillip Griffin and MSNBC. So let's just start throwing cards here. Oh, and Phillip Griffin is described as just kind of laid back, but the way that he gets back at people, he is vicious, relentless, cruel, and mean. I mean, it just sounded so dark and disgusting and very mafioso sounding. What is going on between MSNBC and Russia and Phillip Griffin and his position at MSNBC and ties to the Russia investigation? Okay, I'm going to reverse cut my deck. What do we have here? Ha! I just said today this is my mafia card because it's Paul Manafort. And I can't remember who said it in her reading, but she said this was a mafia card, and it just bells went off in my head. It's the mafia card. This is why MSNBC will not report on real breaking news and connect the dots, because ultimately it's part of the Paul Manafort global mafia coup. And I am not exaggerating there. You see all these notes I've taken all day today. Oh my gosh. Okay, so what's a signifier with Griffin, MSNBC, and our media? Justice. Griffin acknowledged that MSNBC has never become like the home for Democrats like Fox has for Republicans, but rather it's been a platform for the progressive base to air out their issues. So what's covering justice and why things won't get covered? Hard work. They're bound up. They've been fighting this Russia investigation too, is what I'm being told. They're fighting it too. They're also fighting the Russia investigation because their challenge is change, death. I need clarifiers. Okay, change, death, transformation of what? We have 2 major arcana already with the mafia. Death. Oh my God, because of the election. Having to walk away. And a stolen election. You guys, everything, these cards keep coming up over and over and over again. This is why they're not covering it. At the base of this MSNBC, what's going on? Griffin. They participated in helping to bind up Hillary Clinton voters because if you remember, I remember getting very angry with Katie Tour because something massive broke about Trump and what he did. It was probably about grabbing them by the bleep, and she went back to emails. False equivalency. Same with her and what's her name in the middle of the day? Andrea. Ugh. Crowning this. Oh, because they've been made offers. This is Donald Trump who makes offers to people behind the scenes to, oh my gosh. In the past. Because they want to steal the election. Do you see where this is going? I'm already sick of this. What was to come from that? The Trump crime syndicate, AMI maybe. How do we see MSNBC through all of this? Angry. And we've got our lid on our emotions. Women are pissed. Women are pissed, and they will not interview Hillary voters. Environment. Because angry Putin is in charge. Hopes with hope. Hope for who? Robert Mueller? Hope that they can be the star of what? It's not Mueller. To make, oh, okay, this makes sense. So back in 2015 or 2016, when everyone was working on the campaign, hoping to make Donald the star, MSNBC wanted to make Donald the star, or was paid to do so, and was paid to do this. Fear, MSNBC Griffin. They feared Hillary Clinton. Why would you fear Hillary Clinton if you're running a media company in the United States of America? Because Putin was afraid of her? I am getting so angry. Whew, we're in Eclipse click date. Okay. And the ideal was what? Pay out bribes. Give us a little bit of information here, a little bit of information there, la 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 la, email. Bind her up. What's to come? Ratings. I am officially disgusted by MSNBC and our media because, you know what? The same thing with Facebook and Twitter. The same thing. They are paid because Russia gave them startup money for Facebook and Twitter, that Russia has to determine the narratives and the trends. We are in a horribly blacked out media situation right now. And I don't mean to depress you. This is what we're discovering. And we're discovering at the end of Mercury retrograde, at the balsamic moon of eclipses, which tells me something is going to happen to rectify this in a short amount of time and make it right. Okay, there's something else I want to talk about. Read them aloud to you. If you haven't read the story in the New York Times about Tom Barrack, who became the chair of the inaugural committee for Donald Trump. This was a story that broke on Friday on top of the impeachment inquiry. And this completely got missed. Nobody is talking about this. So that story that came about was about the foreign influence that he had with UAE and the Saudis. He had received $1.5 billion from Saudi officials. And he tried to arrange a meeting between Manafort and the crown princes of Saudi Arabia, but he acknowledged that Manafort was completely programmed about the Saudis and the Emiratis. Manafort was programmed for that. Thank goodness SDNY is investigating through campaign finance law. And also FARA compliance, FARA, Foreign Registration Act. I forget what the other A stands for. And that went to the Eastern District of New York. And so that all came out. And then the other thing that came out was about the 9/11 documents that Saudi officials knew the hijackers. They were in touch with Al-Qaeda, and they traced the number of their contact to Al-Qaeda, which went to a house in Aspen, Colorado, and that person is our Saudi ambassador to Washington. That story also broke. But in related to Tom Barrack, 9/11 is still unresolved, and then Trump and the Saudis are all trying to block redacting of the cases. And so, did we hear about any of that through the media this weekend? No. Did we hear anything about the House Judiciary Committee and Representative Elijah Cummings now making a statement and releasing documents related to the arrangements by Tom Barrack and others in trying to get nuclear power technology to Saudi Arabia? Well, Gary Cohn and Tom Barrack benefited from that as well. In fact, Tom Barrack got to bring his company, Colony North Star, who got billions of dollars, on a trip with the White House to the UAE about giving nuclear technology to the Emiratis and to the Saudis. The other people involved were Gary Cohn, Pompeo, Katie McFarland, Kushner, obviously Mike Flynn, Tillerson, Mattis, Rick Perry, and Mnuchin. That's the document that Representative Elijah Cummings released today. But all we heard about was racism. We have not heard a word about this. Okay, so this term I want to share with you, it's called reflexive control. It's a sustained campaign that feeds select information out to the public. This is a Russian tactic. The official word begins with an M, and I forget the rest, but this is Russian. This is how they do their crap to control the narrative. So they leak select information so people can just make their own decisions on just a little bit of information that they've been given. And so then it spreads false information. And then you leak even more partial information at opportune times. So what happens is you gain control of the narrative. That's the hybrid war. And so this happens ad nauseum every single day. This is what we're still dealing with every single day. Just a second. Even the public broadcasting system, I think the Kochs make a lot of donations there, but I was shocked talking about the Mueller report. I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to cover the Mueller report. The host, so he's talking about Trump Tower and ties to Russia, the confines of the report, and it was worth probing. It was worth having him. And she kept saying, but the Dems said he would do more. But it was just a little bit of information. But he did not impress us. But people said Congress did not lead. This woman used to have a really good reputation. And then he was explaining, well, how they conveyed Volume 1. First, he gave so many detailed answers. I was so impressed. And then, so then she asks, is Pelosi an effective leader? Because, the New York Times and Washington Post said, if they can pass so many bills, but they cannot pass them in the Senate, how is this successful for her? Can you believe this? But what Trump says resonates with people regarding deportation and the law. And so that's from public broadcasting. Everywhere you turn, the Democrats are questioned, doubted. There really is no platform, you guys, for Democrats, for the majority of people who voted for Hillary Clinton. Now, I know on my channel, there's a lot of progressives, and that is fine. I understand why people have different perspectives. that is fine. I do not judge any of you about that at all. I would like to be able to have an open dialogue about that, and that's why I don't read on Dems, because we have to stay as unified as possible with what we're faced right now. I won't go there until it's time to go there. But let's recognize the messaging that's going on. Let's recognize reflexive control or control of the narrative, playing both sides. I think that this Griffin guy who's in charge of MSNBC, I think he's actually a Republican. And like Roger Ailes is like his idol, which is really scary. And then Brian Williams, just what a disappointment last week. What a disappointment. Okay, I know there's something I want to read on, but the energy is just popping everywhere. I just feel like the White House is working so hard. You know what? Let's do that. White House, I just get the sense that you guys Donald's really working really hard to keep everything under control. What news is about to break, you guys? Tell me that. If I'm an observer of the White House, what news is about to break? What are they trying to suppress? How did these... What? Okay, I guess we'll go upside down. The Trump crime syndicate is about to come undone. That is what they're trying to suppress right now. Okay. They're trying to blend all the stories and integrate everything. But this is upside down. Oh, I cannot even keep my hands on this. Because of Donald. Wow. He's surrounded. He keeps fighting. He is surrounded. He's just going to keep fighting, but... This is Robert Mueller. The Mueller report. Still reeling from that. And Putin's at the bottom. He is in such a hard place. And Pence coming. Whew, that's going to hurt. Okay, Mike Pence. Mike Pence. What are you and Mitch? I think I have another interruption. You and Mitch and Devin Nunes working on. What's going on with you guys? They're working out a strategy. With their government, Republican Party, that's just so dysfunctional right now. Because they're having a tower moment. How to deal with Nancy. Their party. They're anxious and nervous about this. Because the devil is coming. Okay, thanks, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm just going to end this here. I'll start another one soon, but I've got people coming in. Okay, thanks.